promise I never get. Knowing that situation could get high like a weather get. Man, the kingdom I better get. I'm in the judge and I'm more like a predicate. So all the flaws that I got on my head of it, but that's irrelevant.
How can I ease the pain? How can I ease the pain? Gotta ease the pain, man. Gotta ease the pain. Gotta ease the pain, man. Gotta ease the pain. I've been hurt, I've been betrayed. I welcome it all, cause I'm not afraid.
Con. So now we went into the immediate context of what Yahushua came to establish regarding his teaching, right? And that was to adhere, or not to think that he came to abolish the law, but he came to fulfill it. Let's look at what he says concerning people that either keep or disregard the law, right? So let's, if you can for me, read Matthew chapter 5, verse 19 through 20.
This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 19 and 20. Therefore, whoever relaxes one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven.
Absolutely, man. All praises to the Most High. Beautiful reading. And this, I feel like this is just so plain, but I'm going to go into it anyway, because it's like we've been moving around for so many years, and these scriptures have been here on the table. And to us, it just reads how it reads. It's clear what he's saying. This is not a hard saying. This, when I first started reading the Bible, like I mentioned earlier, this stood out to me like a sore thumb, and I said, "Man, we definitely gotta keep the law." Like, it was no question. Like, it was. This is not one of those hard sayings, but basically, when you look at verse 19, the Messiah says that whoever is to relax one of the least commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom. But whoever is to do them and teach them will be called great. Now, when you look into the Greek language, in regard to the word relax, it means to annul or deprive of authority, like I was speaking to earlier. So if someone deprives the authority of the commandments, by neglecting to keep them and also teaching others to do the same thing, then they'll be called least in the kingdom, meaning, there'll be a judgment, for that particular person. And it's not going to be a good judgment. It's not going to be a good thing. The Lord is not going to say, oh, well, you chose freedom over obedience and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, that's a misconception that a lot of people have. They believe that, when the scriptures talk about freedom, it's juxtaposed to obedience, when, bondage is actually synonymous with disobedience and sin. Like, we can read that throughout the scriptures. But just real quick, I want to look at this word for let me see. Is one of these words speak about how there'll be a judgment. I want to see. I think it's the word called, which is the Greek word kaleo. It's a verb which typically means to summon or means to call. And when you look at the definition, it'll just say to call, to bid, call forth, etc. Right? Now, if you can, good brother, could you read for me this lexical note within Thayer's? So I'm gonna click on it, then I'm gonna highlight it. So if you can just read this right here.
To be acknowledged, pass as, the nominative expressing the judgment passed on one.
So Again, this will be this is dealing with the judgment that you'll receive and how you'll be regarded. Will you be regarded in a good light or, you know, a negative light? And obviously, as we, you know, we could see throughout the scriptures and even here, just on a cursory level, we can see that it's not going to be a good thing for you if you're relaxing or you know, basically breaking the commandments and telling others to do so. You know, it's good is not going to come to you, right? So again, this is to the people that make it their business to teach that you know, oh, we're not under that old law anymore, or it's not authoritative. You know, don't let anybody try to put you under bondage, you know, by telling you what, you know, what you can eat and the days you can't, all of these things. Like those particular people, they're not going to inherit or enter into the kingdom. You know, they're not going to receive the dominion that comes from our God. You know, they're gonna get judged negatively, right? When you look at this word for great, because it says, you know, on the contrary, for someone that's doing the law and teaching people to do so, they're going to be called great. When you look at this particular word, it actually means it's the Greek word megas, I want to say, and this is where you get the word mega from, you know. And when someone is mega, they're on a particular level. They're looked at and, you know, in a high esteem, so to speak. This is where the sense of this word takes you, right? When you look at it, you can find this theme in the book of Daniel, and I just want to show it on my screen real quick. It's the Greek word megas, and y'all can obviously see the correlation, mega, etc. But if you can, for me, just read the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verses 2 through 3. Of 2 through 3.
Con. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 2 and 3. It says, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever.
Con. So, you know, basically the sense right here is that, you know, it's dealing with the resurrection. Just contextually speaking, it's dealing with, you know, resurrection and judgment. And some people are being, you know, awoke or woken up to everlasting life, and some contempt. And when you go into the word contempt, that just deals with an abhorrence. You know, so again, this is representative of the least versus the greatest, right? And when you look at verse 3, because this, you know, more so goes into the greatest, it says those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the sky above, and those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever. And so, you know, those who, you know, are wise, meaning, you know, them that adhere to wisdom and knowledge by keeping the law, you know, and, you know, they teach others to be wise, and they shine like stars, meaning they'll be recognized in high esteem, right? And again, this is, you know, something that we get to see in our everyday lives, because a lot of brothers that are, you know, waking up to this understanding and waxing mightier and mightier, what typically tends to happen is not only, you know, them, do they, you know, get better, you know, as people, and they start to keep God's laws, but they influence other people, and they typically go out to teach, you know, they help lead others into righteousness. You know, perfect example, the brother Hurt, and you know, a lot of the other brothers, like, they started to keep God's laws, and then they went on to teach others to keep God's laws. And so, you know, the brothers that continuously remain in this particular lot, they'll be regarded in high esteem. You know, just like, you know, how Yahushua said in Matthew 5, you'll be great in the kingdom. But for the people that are, you know, not, you know, breaking God's laws and telling others, hey man, you don't gotta keep that law, man. Read Galatians, read Romans. You know, for those people, they'll be an abhorrence to the Most High God. You know, the Most High is not going to look at them in a positive light. Right? You got any points? God.
Cold-hearted, yeah, the cracker got a cap, but we gon' do the do. 100 band foreign car, we ain't rooted poo. Of y'all young, we keep a case, dog, Scooby-Doo. See a coon, slap a coon, I went 2 for 2. Yeah, y'all color, but y'all squares, 2 a Rubik's Cube.